didn't. So we are live. Hello, everybody. We are
What
going
up?
officially live
Happy
in
birthday!
just a few seconds. So make yourselves at home. We're going to be going over some amazing content. Some
Dun, dun,
amazing
dun.
content. Get ready. We're going live in five, four, three, two, one. Hello.
Hey!
Oh,
I
yes.
want a red nose.
It is Red Nose Day. It is Red Nose Day. And sorry.
Magic. Magical.
So hello, hello, hello. Um, this is the another accountability success circle success quickie.
Woo
Uh,
woo.
I am Gary Ware, joined by the ever so beautiful, she's that way, April Schluter. We are the success team of the Accountability Success Circle. And this week, we are going to be talking about how to hold a family meeting.
Yay.
Because especially if you are in COVID time and you're finding yourselves with your family more than you normally do, you probably are bumping into each other, and you probably want to, like, talk about stuff and have a structured form for that. April, being the ever so amazing person that she is, all about process, all about frameworks, she has an amazing framework that she's going to talk to you. Two simple things, that her family does weekly, and she's going to just jump into it.
Yeah.
So if you
Let me give some little like framework
yeah,
beforehand.
please.
And so,
Yeah.
I actually, when I first started my coach training, I met somebody, friend of mine, who, was all about family connection and all of that stuff, and talked about the concept of family meetings. And there's a couple other people over the years who I talked to about this concept of having family meetings, which I always thought was like, this is awesome. Like, this is something that I would love to do. But at the time, my kids were super young, and for those of you who have kids that are under the age of, let's say, 6, you know that sometimes this might be a little bit hard. But once they get past that hump of being a toddler and a little kid, they can start to engage a little bit more. So I'd say that, when your youngest is 5 or 6, maybe you can, do modified versions of this. But they really start to become more communicative and legitimate as your kids get older. So my kids are now 11 and soon to be 9. And we have been holding this every week for maybe the last year and a half, maybe. We chose to do it weekly. Because it's something that's regular, and it can be shorter because of that. And we do it at dinner every Tuesday night. We tried doing it on Fridays. We tried doing it on Sundays, and it took a while for us to get in the groove, but we've found Tuesday to be our sweet spot in terms of making sure that we have dinner. And outside of COVID times, this was a perfect day when kids didn't have classes after school to go to, and we didn't have meetings, and it was just a good day that, the weekends we just kind of wanted to be flexible. So you have to choose a day that works for you. You could do this once a month if, to start, but just a little preface that it might take a little bit of time to get into a groove with this, but it's a simple structure that I use, and I am excited to share with you. So
Cool. Let's jump into it.
there's 2 categories. So remember, I'm keeping this simple. This month is all about minimalism. So really trying to keep things super, super easy for you, because, not wanting to add things on your plate, let alone things that are overwhelming, especially around this time. So, um, all you have to do is, for the first, just as you start the meeting, choose a location that, is free from distractions. I usually tell my kids, no technology, no anything. I have my phone because I have the agenda in this recurring task that just shows up every week, and I just have to fill it out and answer it. So the first part of the meeting is just called the rate and celebrate section. And all you have to do in that section is, 1, rate your week on a scale of 1 to 10. So I just go around and all four of us will rate our week on a scale of 1 to 10. And I'll have the notes from the last week just so we can kind of see the changes. And then the second thing is, what was the best thing about last week? So this past week, I said that my favorite thing that happened was celebrating Justin, my oldest son's 11th birthday. And of course, he said playing video games, which was his thing. So you get that example. I see that Isaac is commenting saying, my kids are so young, they're better communicators than me just because of my sleep deprivation. When does that get fixed? Oh, well, we can talk about that in a little bit.
Right. Maybe that is another quickie.
Yes. How do we deal with the sleep deprivation and just the exhaustion from little kids? Gary, maybe we should do that next week since you've got a 3-year-old at home. So that's just tip number 1, is make sure that you reflect on the week prior or whatever period of time between meetings, just as a way to think about what has happened and celebrate. The second piece is planning forward. And so now that, because my family does weekly meetings, we will basically plan forward for the next week. But this is a great time to talk about any logistics that need to be handled and whatnot. I do my own separate planning for the family calendar 2 weeks ahead in preparation for this meeting, just so that I know what points I want to make sure that I hit upon. But in the plan forward portion of the meeting, you do, I have 3 things. So 1 is, what do you want to do this week to make sure that it's awesome? So it's kind of like you just talked about what was awesome about last week, but what would make this coming week a success? The second thing is that we ask is there anything that you need support around this week from the rest of the family? So a lot of times I'll say to my kids, you really need to finish all of your e-learning before you start playing on electronics, or these things need to happen, or, you need to clean up your garbage, from your food when you're snacking, those types of things. Or, my husband might say, hey, I really want to play a game this week. I really want to make sure that we make time for that. And so in the meeting, we will schedule those types of things. And then the third thing is we go over the calendar for the next week. So when we were busier and going out, there was a lot more stuff to talk about, but it's like, okay, Tuesday we're home, Wednesday we're home. So we talk about things that we want to make sure that we add on to the calendar as a family, because a lot of times we will try to do our own thing in our special nooks of the house, but we want to make sure that we come together. So we plan on those things, and we talk about logistics that need to happen in order to make that happen, to make sure that everybody is aware. So, Gary, what do you think about my plan?
I love it. And what I love about it, 1, it's simple. And 2, it's sort of grounded in gratitude and happiness. And it gives, especially with families where, you have a lot, I know a number of these types of families right now, like, you have teenagers at home and stuff like that. Like, it gives you a really great framework to seek support.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to ask for, what you need, but boom, here you go. You got an easy way to just like think about like, oh yeah, how can my, how can the people in my family support me? And also like you're starting to frame your week of, what do you want to do to make sure this week is awesome? And then in my opinion, start to see that because you started putting that out there. So
yeah, and it gives everybody in the family ownership, because the reason that I did this is that, a lot of the family planning falls on me. And I know that is a lot of work. And while it definitely in my wheelhouse to do a lot of planning, sometimes I want that feedback to know that this is something that they want to do. We talk about, sometimes we have agendas about, hey, we've got a new initiative, like in October when I do my own personal planning and things that I want to accomplish. One of the things, as an example, last year, I decided that I wanted to, not be so dependent on technology. And so, in one of our meetings, I talked about, so I did this plan and I was thinking that maybe once a month we could have like a span of 4 hours in a day where like we set a timer and we're not on technology at all. And we have to find other things that don't have technology involved, aside from like driving to somewhere where we're not using technology, but something that we can do as a family. And so we would discuss that and then put those wheels in motion and continue to talk about that in tiny little chunks, because most of the time my kids are like, are we done yet? Are we done yet? But making sure that we get them to reflect and talk about what they want to do. Because sometimes they'll say like, I want to go get ice cream. We're like, we can make that happen. So it's just really a great way for everybody to communicate and connect, especially when times are busy. So this is something that you can implement now with your family if you're interested and your kids are in a decent enough age, or even something to say, you can do once a week and start. If your kids are really young, just say like, here's one question. And you could even do it at the dinner table nightly. What was the best thing that happened today? Just so that you start to create that habit. So that's all I got to say.
Love it.
All right. You want to end this with just a quick little ditty of the ASC?
Yes. So this is the ASC Success Quickie. We're part of the Accountability Success Circle. Just a network of amazing people who are all about getting stuff done while having more fun. And I feel like community is something that's super important, especially in this time, where there's a lot of uncertainty. So if you are interested in learning about the ASC and how you can become a member, you can go to accountabilitysuccesscircle.com. As April mentioned in the beginning, every month we have a different theme, and it's designed all around helping you just optimize your life. And this month's theme is minimalism, and we've been doing some really cool challenges around that. So, let us know in the comments. What did you think? Do you plan to implement it? I feel like this is also a good framework if you do team meetings too. So,
Yes.
till next time, we'll see you with another ASC quickie. All right. Are you ready to? We're gonna play them out. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye.